Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered if you could actually, nudge reality in your favor just by putting pen to paper?
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it?
It really is. Today, we're diving into the 5 by 55 manifestation method, this idea that writing your desire 55 times for 5 consecutive days can somehow bring it to life.
Right. And the big question is, does it actually work? Is it magic? Or is there, a method to the seeming madness?
Exactly. That's what we're here to unpack. We'll explore how this technique supposedly works, the reasoning behind it, where people often go wrong.
Which happens quite a bit, actually.
I bet. We'll also give you a step-by-step guide to doing it effectively and even share some real-world accounts.
Yeah, the stories can be pretty compelling.
So if you're curious about attracting more of what you want, maybe it's love or money or success, then you've definitely come to the right place.
What's particularly interesting about the 5 by 55 method is how directly it engages with the principles of the law of attraction.
Hmm.
This core idea that our thoughts and feelings have a real, tangible impact on the world around us, drawing similar energies back.
Like attracts like.
Precisely. At its heart, the 5 by 55 technique is a very focused exercise in repetition. It asks you to get really clear on a desire.
Just one desire.
Yes, one specific desire, and then commit to writing it down 55 times each day for 5 days straight.
Okay, 55 times. That's a lot of writing.
It is. And the thinking behind that consistent repetition is that it works on a few different levels. The sustained focus is intended to really embed that desire deep into your subconscious mind.
Sort of bypassing our usual doubts and skepticism.
Exactly. It's also thought to help break down any internal resistance, those mental blocks we might have towards actually achieving the desire.
Right.
And finally, it's seen as this powerful way to signal your intentions to the universe, with real clarity and consistency.
Okay, so this fits into that bigger picture of law of attraction tools we hear about, like
Yeah.
scripting, writing out your ideal future.
Or affirmations, those positive statements you repeat.
Yeah, and vision boards, the visual collages of goals.
Yeah.
So what makes 5 by 55 different? What's its unique angle in this toolkit?
That's a really good question. While all these methods aim to align your inner world with what you want externally, the 5 by 55 method puts this huge emphasis on the sheer volume of repetition within a very concentrated time frame.
The 55 times for 5 days bit.
Right. It's not just about occasionally stating your desire or glancing at a vision board. It's this dedicated, repeated, focused action over those 5 days.
Okay.
The theory is that this concentrated effort creates a much stronger imprint on your subconscious and sends a, let's say, louder, energetic message out there.
And people use this for, all sorts of things.
Oh, absolutely. We've heard stories of people using it for a whole range of outcomes. Unexpected financial gains, like a bonus or finding money, promotions, business success, attracting significant relationships, even healing from breakups. And yeah, career stuff too, landing dream jobs, getting new clients, achieving recognition. Even health and wellness people reporting healing, weight loss, or just better mental clarity.
That's quite a spectrum of results. Now, something I immediately wondered, and I'm sure a lot of listeners are thinking too, why 55? Why 5 days? Is there something special about those numbers?
It's a very natural question, isn't it? And honestly, traditional science doesn't really offer a specific reason for 55 and 5 in this context.
Okay, so no specific scientific paper on the 55 by 5 formula.
Not exactly, but there are some interesting perspectives. Within numerology, for instance, the number 5 is often linked with change, freedom, new beginnings.
Oh, okay.
So some proponents suggest that repeating it 55 amplifies that energy of transformation, maybe speeds things up.
Interesting, like a symbolic amplifier.
Perhaps. And then from a more psychological angle, writing something 55 times, well, that's a significant investment of focus.
Undeniably, you have to commit.
That level of repetition is likely to push the idea beyond just a casual wish. It starts embedding it as a firmer belief in your subconscious.
Makes sense.
And the 5-day period, it could be seen as a kind of sweet spot, long enough to demand real focus and commitment.
But not so long it feels impossible to stick with.
Exactly. It feels achievable, but still requires dedication.
So while maybe not hard science on the numbers themselves, they represent this focused effort and maybe tap into some symbolic meaning. You mentioned the brain changing earlier, neuroplasticity. How does that connect here?
Yes, neuroplasticity. It's such a fascinating aspect of our brains. It's basically the brain's ability to constantly reorganize itself, forming new neural connections throughout our lives.
Like it's always learning and adapting.
Constantly. Think about learning an instrument or even just having a new thought. Neurons fire together, creating a connection.
Okay.
The more you repeat that action or thought, the stronger that connection becomes. It gets easier, more automatic.
Like wearing a path in the grass?
That's a perfect analogy. So when we repeatedly write down our desire 55 times a day, we're essentially firing the neurons linked to that desired outcome over and over and over. This repetition helps forge and strengthen new neural pathways, pathways that start to support the belief that this outcome is true, or at least becoming true.
So you're basically training your brain to accept the new reality.
You are. You're helping to override older, perhaps limiting thought patterns. You're carving out that new path.
Okay, that helps visualize it.
Yeah.
You also mentioned something called the reticular activating system, the RAS. That's a bit technical.
It sounds technical, but it's a really fundamental part of our brainstem. Think of it like a gatekeeper for your senses.
A gatekeeper?
Yeah. Every second, we're bombarded with information, sounds, sights, feelings, way more than our conscious mind can handle.
Right. It would be overwhelming.
Totally. The RAS acts as a filter. It sifts through everything and decides what gets our conscious attention, and crucially, it's influenced by our beliefs, our interests, and our repeated thoughts.
Ah, okay. So where does the 5x55 come in?
Well, when we consistently focus on our desire through the 5x55 writing, we're essentially training our RAS. We're telling it, hey, this is important.
So it starts looking for things related to that desire.
Exactly. It starts prioritizing information, opportunities, even little synchronicities in our environment that align with that goal. They might have been there all along.
But we just weren't noticing them.
Right, because our RAS was filtering them out based on our old dominant thoughts. By repeating the desire, we tell the RAS, pay attention to this.
It's like deciding you want a specific red car, and suddenly you see red cars everywhere.
That's the classic example. The cars were always there, but now your RAS is primed to spot them.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. It's like tuning your internal search engine.
Hmm.
Okay, and then there's the law of attraction idea of emotional alignment or vibration. How does 5x55 tie into that?
Right, so according to the law of attraction, our emotional state, the energy we're putting out, our vibration is key to what we attract. Remember, if we consistently feel and embody the feeling of already having our desire, we're more likely to attract experiences that match that feeling.
So it's not just thinking it, it's feeling it.
Absolutely. The consistent focus during the 5x55 method, especially when we consciously engage with the emotions of having it, the joy, the gratitude, the excitement,
Okay.
that helps to raise our overall vibrational state to match the desire. We're tuning ourselves energetically to be in harmony with what we want.
So the writing itself isn't enough. The emotion is crucial.
It's a huge component. It's about the energy you pour into those words.
Which brings us to a really important point then. Why doesn't it work for some people? Why do some try this and just nothing?
Yeah.
What are the common mistakes?
Yes. That's crucial because understanding the pitfalls can make all the difference. Probably the biggest mistake is writing without feeling.
Just going through the motion.
Exactly. If it becomes this rote, mindless exercise, just copying words 55 times without connecting to the desire and the feeling of having it, well, it's unlikely to do much.
So what's the fix?
You have to consciously pause, maybe between every few repetitions or even every single one. Take a breath, vividly imagine your desire as real now, and really feel the emotions, the joy, the relief, the gratitude. It's about quality of focus over just quantity.
Okay, embody the feeling. Got it. What's another common mistake?
Another big one is changing the desire midway through the 5 days.
Oh, right. Like starting with wanting a new job on Monday, but by Wednesday deciding you want more money instead.
Precisely. That inconsistency totally dilutes the signal you're sending. It confuses the subconscious, scatters the energy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really vital to pick one clear, specific desire and stick with it for the entire 5 days. After that, sure, focus on something new. But during that cycle, stay laser focused.
Build that momentum for one specific thing.
Okay.
What's one more major pitfall?
The third one I see often is becoming overly attached to the outcome, obsessing over it.
Constantly looking for signs. Checking your bank account every 5 minutes if you're manifesting money.
Exactly. That constant checking, that anxiety about when it's going to happen, it actually comes from a place of lack and doubt, doesn't it?
Yeah, it signals, I don't really believe this is coming.
Right. It screams, I don't have it yet, instead of, I know it's on its way. The most effective approach is write with intention and feeling, and then let it go.
Let it go.
Consciously release your attachment to how and when it will manifest. Trust the process. Trust the universe or your subconscious or whatever framework you prefer. Plant the seed, then trust it will grow.
Plant the seed and trust the process.
Uh-huh.
I like that. Okay, so we know what not to do. Let's get practical. How do you actually do the 5 by 55 method correctly? Walk us through this fast.
Okay, let's do it. If you're ready to give it a shot, here's the guide. Step 1, and this is absolutely fundamental. Choose one specific desire.
Specificity is key, you said.
Paramount. Not just, I want to be happy. Get precise. Like, I am so grateful and happy celebrating my promotion to senior manager, or I am enjoying wonderful dates with my ideal partner.
Something concrete you can really focus on.
Exactly. The clearer the desire, the clearer the signal.
Makes sense. Step 2.
Step 2 is the main event. Write your chosen specific desire 55 times each day for 5 consecutive days.
55 times, 5 days. Got it. Any tips on when or how?
Yeah, many find morning right after waking or evening just before sleep are good times. The subconscious is often thought to be more receptive then,
Okay.
and handwriting is generally recommended over typing.
Why is that?
It just seems to create a more tangible, personal connection. The physical act of writing can engage your focus more deeply, maybe activate different parts of the brain.
I can see that it feels more intentional somehow. What's step 3?
Step 3 is about that emotional piece we keep mentioning. Feel it as you write.
Don't go on autopilot.
Definitely not. With each repetition, or at least frequently, pause. Really embody the feeling of already having it.
Yeah.
Visualize it, sense it, feel the positive emotions, excitement, gratitude, relief, as if it's already real. Believe it.
Engage the mind, the senses, the emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. Step 4.
Step 4 is that crucial letting go. Release and trust. After you finish your 55 reps for the day, make a conscious choice to detach.
Stop thinking about it.
Not necessarily stop thinking, but stop worrying about the how and when. Trust the universe, trust the process. Let go of the need to control the outcome. This allows it to unfold without your resistance.
That trust part, that could be the hardest bit, I think.
Yeah.
Surrendering control.
It often is. It requires faith. And finally, step 5.
Okay.
Step 5 is take inspired action. This isn't just about wishing. The universe or life, whatever you want to call it, often rewards effort.
So you don't just sit back and wait after writing.
No. Pay attention. Notice nudges, ideas, opportunities, synchronicities that feel related to your desire, and be willing to act on them.
Right. So if you're manifesting a job,
You still update your resume, you network, you apply for positions that feel right. It's a collaboration between your intention and your action in the world.
okay, so it's intention plus action. That's a really clear guide.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier you had a personal 6 with this.
I did, yeah. I used the 5 by 55 method quite diligently with a very specific goal. Manifesting my dream apartment, I was clear on the location, the size, the light, the feeling of the place. I followed these steps, focused on the feeling, and honestly, within about 3 weeks, I found and secured an apartment that just ticked all the boxes. It matched my vision almost perfectly.
Wow, 3 weeks? That's pretty fast.
It felt incredibly powerful, yeah. It really showed me how focused intention plus consistency plus being open to action can yield real results.
That's a fantastic personal story. And to add to that, I know we came across other accounts too.
Yeah.
Can you share a couple more examples of what people have reportedly manifested?
Sure, there are quite a few out there. One woman shared, she wrote, I am now in a deeply loving and committed relationship with my soulmate, 55 times daily.
Okay.
2 weeks after finishing the 5 days, she met the man who is now her husband, who she absolutely describes as her soulmate.
2 weeks. That's amazing.
Another story involved someone struggling financially. They focused on, I am so grateful for the consistent and abundant flow of money into my life. Shortly after the 5 days, they reportedly received an unexpected check for $5,000.
A surprise $5,000 check.
Nice. Right. And then there was someone aiming for a dream job at Google. They used the method, kept taking inspired action, applying, networking, and about 3 months later, they landed the role.
3 months for a Google job. That still seems pretty impressive. These aren't small things.
No, they're often quite specific and significant changes. And while, you could always say coincidence.
Right. Skepticism is easy.
It is. But when you hear multiple stories like this, all linked to the specific practice of focused intention, it does make you consider that maybe there's a real energetic connection happening.
It suggests that aligning your energy, focus, and belief really can create ripples.
That seems to be the underlying idea, yes.
All right.
Establishing that energetic resonance.
So for listeners who are thinking, okay, I want to try this and I want to maximize my chances, are there any bonus tips? Maybe ways to amplify the effect?
Yes, definitely. There are a few extra things people try. One is adding a gratitude statement right into the affirmation, starting with, thank you, universe, for, or
Mhm.
I'm so grateful now that
To really boost that feeling of already having it.
exactly.